Welcome to the 91st video in our series about Unix tools. In this video, I'm going to resume showing you how to use the Git version control software. In earlier videos, we learned how to create a Git repository, which is basically a .git directory tree, using git init. We also learned how to use git config local to update the repository's configuration. We set the user's name, email, we turned off colors, we set several different things. We learned about staging files to be committed with git add, and then actually doing a commit with git commit. We learned many ways to look at the commit history with a git log. We learned how to inquire about pending changes with git status, and how to generate a diff with git diff so we can see exactly what changes have been made. However, many details were glossed over. Let's zoom in on git diff since it is a command that you will use often. There are basically three logical categories of diffs you can request. Number one, if you just say git diff, that's going to show you the changes between what has been staged and what is in the working directory. And we've used that several times. If you say, this is number two, if you say git diff staged, and I think in previous videos I used cached, which is the old name. Staged and cached are aliases, they're the same thing. So git diff staged will show the changes between what was in head, which is the name of your last commit, and what is in staged, what has been staged, the things you did a git add already. Okay, so git diff staged will show you what git commit is going to use when it runs. Finally, there's git diff head, number three. This shows changes between that head, again, the last commit, and what is in the working directory, and it doesn't worry about what's staged or what not staged. That is, all changes since the last commit, staged or not, except it will filter things based on your git ignore. Okay, it's been a while since we had any ugly ASCII artwork. I know you want it. If you're honest with yourself, you know that deep inside your heart and soul, you want it too. Who am I to deny you? Behold, the diagram below, which is here on the right, explains the three categories of diffs graphically. And I didn't invent this diagram. I cloned it from something I saw on Stack Overflow. But at the top we have head, and that's the last commit in the Git repository. Then we have the staged changes in the box that says index staged. They say the code is staged, but they call that area the index. These are some of the reasons why Git is so confusing. More than one name. And at the bottom we have the working directory. What you would see if you did ls-l or if you cat some file. So there are the three kinds of diff. If we go back to the top, the git diff staged, and the git diff head. And you can see I have three arrows. One arrow says go from head to the index, to the staged code. And to see those changes between head and the index, you do this, git diff staged. Then another arrow shows a connection between the index and the working directory. And to see the changes that are, what's different between what you staged and what's in your working directory, you do the git diff. Finally, if you want to ignore what's staged and you just want to know for the files in my working directory that I can see and edit, what's different between them and my last real commit? And I can use this style here, git diff head, and that will skip the staging area and it will just compare the last commit inside the repository, the head commit, with what's in the working directory right now. It's rare to use git diff head, but you might use it if you get confused about things. Normally, git diff is what you use to decide, do I need to do another git add? You'll do a git status, and that will tell you what to add. But if you're not sure, you'll do a git diff so you can see the changes, and maybe you'll git add some of them, but not all of them. If you get confused about, well, what's already in this staging area that's going to be part of the next commit, because you don't want to put too much stuff in one commit. If you want to know what's different between the last check-in head and what's staged, then you use this one. So this is number 1 most common. Number 2, you use it once in a while. And this one is rare, but you need to know how to do it just in case. Let me read the paragraph here. Each downward line with an arrowhead, and these are ugly, but this is ASCII art, the best I could do, indicates the direction, with the changes being between the start of the line at the top and the box to which the arrow points. So the start of the line is at head, and the box to which this points is index that has the stage changes. This one goes from the index where the stage changes are down to the working directory. This one on the right goes from the head, which is in the .git directory. It's the last committed change that you have in your repository, and it goes down to here again to the working directory, but it does not look at the staging area, it skips it. Okay, each of the 3 vertical lines has a label with the git diff command that would show those changes. Now, after you do this beginning part, you can add a lot more options to control the details about the generation of the patch that you see on the screen. And they all use the same command line switches for that. But to decide what you're going to see, what changes you're going to see, you have to use one of these 3 styles of git diff. So I hope that after seeing this, you understand things better. When you're in the working directory and you do a git add, it puts things in the index. And when you do a git commit, it takes what's in the index and puts it into head. If you just say git commit. Can you jump, can you commit from the working directory to head without using the index? You can, but I'm not going to show you how because that's dangerous. You really shouldn't do it. You should do git add for the things in your working directory to build up the staged area and a git status to check it. And then right before you commit, you want to do a git diff staged, and then you can see what's going to be in the commit, and then you'll be able to write a good commit message when you do the git commit. But memorize this picture in your head, including the three different kinds or three different categories of Git diff to show the three different kinds of changes that you can see when you're looking at the head, the staging area or the index, and your working directory, which are the files that you can actually use VI or Nano or whatever editor you have to change. All right. This video didn't show any exciting terminal interaction, but we have to talk about the theory sometimes. And so this video showed the theory. Our next video, I will show you each of these three commands with our tiny little repository so you can see them in action. But we've reached the time limit on this video, and we have to leave that for the next video. Until then, thank you for listening.